Okay, we're live.
I now call to order the meeting of the Park City Board of Education. We will begin with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now adjourn to closed session for the purpose of a strategy session to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation or discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or personnel. Can I get a motion to
I'll make a motion for you to close for the reasons stated.
do we have to do roll call?
Roll call, yeah.
Meredith, aye.
Hey, yeah.
Eileen.
Susan, aye. thank you guys. Wow. Full house now. So we are going to start out with recognizing our amazing Utah Music Educators Association, right?
So I'm gonna start.
Oh, you.
Yeah, hi, thanks for letting me be here. My name is Brett Hughes. I'm from the Teaching and Learning Department. I serve in a multitude of capacities, but also as our school district's fine arts coordinator. I'm excited to be here today to introduce our music staff and our music students and talk about some of the success they have had recently. And before we start that, obviously, just a huge thank you to the Park City Education Foundation, who they are an enormous supporter of music in Park City School District, including 2 transformational classroom grants for our instrumental music department that helps with authentic individualized assessment for our students and also with getting professionals into the classrooms to work on a differentiated level with our musicians. So I am excited to tell you that we had 22 students be selected to all state ensembles this year in the state of Utah. I'm going to start by turning over the time to Mr. Zach Giddings and Mr. Ty Exel to talk about the band and recognize the band students.
Yes, again, thank you for having us today. I am Zach Giddings. I am the head band director for Park City High and Edgar Hill Middle School.
And I'm Ty Exel, and I am the percussion director for Park City High School and Edgar Hill Middle School.
Yeah. Before I say anything else, success like this is not possible without a community that is highly supportive of the arts and of the music program. And that is not possible without an administration that is supportive. And I know we have band parents on the board. I know that anytime the arts are a conversation in our community, it is always so positive. So thank you so much for that. It is just incredible what we have. If you're a student who made it, specifically a band student who made it into one of the all-state ensembles and you are here, will you please stand up? And I would like to have those people, I do not need to say all of their names for them. I would love for them to actually come up here. I'd like to make a line maybe right here. And I'm gonna have each of you say your name, what instrument you play, and what ensemble you were in or are going to be a part of. So those people come over, yes, do not be shy. You are not, they're funny, they perform so well, and then they're in front of adults, they're like, man. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let. Yeah, it is turned into a puddle, that's okay. So we will have. Each student is gonna say their name, what instrument they play, and what ensemble they were a part of or are going to be a part of, because the all-state jazz performance is happening in 2 weeks in St. George. Sorry.
My name's Callan Betker. I play the baritone saxophone, and I got in the junior high concert band.
My name is Henry Nagel. I play clarinet and I got into the Wind Symphony.
My name is Megan Jensen. I play trumpet and I got into the Wind Symphony.
My name is Brian Connors and I play trumpet and I got into the junior high concert band.
My name is Torin Devaney and I play the trumpet and I got into the junior high concert band.
My name is Sharice Perry and I play trumpet and I got into the junior high concert band.
My name is Drew Cocello and I play French horn and I got into the junior high concert band. My name is Chloe Sato and I play French horn and I got into the junior high concert band.
My name is Kat Jones and I'm play percussion and I got into the Wind Symphony.
My name is Charlotte Probin. I play oboe and I got into the junior high concert band.
I'm Jake Michaels, and I play trumpet, and I got into the symphonic band.
I'm David Sarah, and I also got into this one thing.
I'm Oscar Cousins. I play percussion and I made the Wind Symphony.
I'm Jim Woolley, I play guitar, and I made the gospel character.
I'm Owen Smythe. I play saxophone and I'm going to be playing in the jazz band for tenor saxophone.
All right, so yeah, let's do a round of applause for her. I would like to point out, this is the most students we've ever have make the junior high all-state band. We have never had this number of students make it in. It is crazy. A few years ago, we had our first student ever make it, and he was an alternate. And then there was a year we had no students make it, and then last year we had 4. And this year we had 9 students on the list, which is amazing. I've heard time for.
Yeah, and then Miss Eva Marble, you're to represent our orchestra program.
So no offense, think orchestra is just a tiny bit more competitive to get into.
I'll be honest, it is. I help run this stuff, the orchestra, it's insane, sorry.
Yeah, the orchestra's very competitive, but we have 5 students, make it this year, and I also want to line up until Splash maybe played what group he made it into, and we have one student that's not here, and that's Adelaide Lewis, she plays violin, and she made the string, sure.
My name is Anna Collins, I play viola, and I made it string.
My name is Luke Haley. I also play viola. I'm a string.
Living Bone, I also play viola, and I am in string.
So violas. And Vivian and Anna were also first or second and third chairs, so they had to do an additional audition against, in front of the director, for their seating system. Okay, it's,
My name is Chase Coker, I play bottom and my major is work.
Just a couple of other quick share outs about this group. This is an incredibly competitive process and it's not segregated by school size, right? All state is 1A through 6A, all in the same audition process. And I'm happy to report that in both instances with band and orchestra, we had the most students from any 4A high school make it into these ensembles. And far more students than many 5A and 6A schools as well. And then the group of kids that made the Eckerd Hill band, they represent the 4th largest contingent in the state. The 3 other schools that had more students than that all feed 6A powerhouse band programs. And so this is really, in addition to it being an amazing feat, it is really amazing. Park City School District is doing amazing things in music education. We've been recognized 2 years in a row as the best community for music education. That application for the 3rd year is in process right now. There are amazing things happening, including, I'd like to take a second, also recognize Oscars. Oscars, in addition to making the All-State Wind Symphony, has been selected for the National Band. So Oscars gets to spend a few days in the tropic destination of Indianapolis in mid-March to represent Park City and the state of Utah in the National Iron Band for Iron Band America. And then I'd like to recognize our staff. We overhauled our staffing this year and it was a huge lift for them. But the results are starting to show already only 6 months into this, including, we're talking about 5 teachers here who oversee this program 6 through 12. And they had 3 different groups selected by an audition process for state junior high band and orchestra coming up this spring. So we have 2 bands from Eckerd Hill, our concert band and our band 3 group, who will be performing at state band. And then also our orchestra 3 group from Eckerd Hill. That's a very competitive audition process to get into those festivals. So I'd like to say thank you for the work you are doing, because I know what your schedules look like working at both buildings. And I know what it's like. I know what you guys are dealing with, teaching 7 different grade levels of students, and you're still doing amazing work every single day. And on behalf of Park City School District, I'd like to say thank you to the 5.
I'll just put another plug for the Ed Foundation here. My students got, and you can speak for band, but as part of their all-state audition process, we were able to pay some people to come in and work individually with these students. Was it helpful? Yeah, made a huge difference, and that would not be possible without Park City Foundation, so.
Yes, and we did the same thing, what we did with Make Music, we created all the etudes and put it into Make Music so the kids could practice at home with an online application. And I guarantee that's why we had so many junior high students make it, is because they were able to use that, and that's because of the Ed Foundation.
Are there any more tickets to the Sweetheart Gala?
Yes.
Please,
Yes,
there are.
That is the event.
Best time of the year.
It is a very cool event.
Send me an email, please.
Students, families, thank you so much for prioritizing this event and being here. Colton would love a group picture of you out on the front steps of the building as you all depart if you have time. Board, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, next up, we've got more Upper Hill awesomeness
Yes, yes,
with Isaiah Palau with our school highlights.
awesome. Well, good evening to all of you members of the board. I am Isaiah Flatt, the principal at Eckerd Hill. It's good to see you again. It has been a minute. Very excited with the invitation from Superintendent Huntsman to do a school highlight a month. I happen to be January, so I want to share kind of a mid-year progress update, kind of share with you some of the insights that are going on around Eckerd Hill. Very proud of what's going on, so very happy to kind of brag on Eckerd Hill for a little bit. You know, of course, the mission and vision of our school district as a whole. In our vision, we're trying to take care of the whole child, but what does that look like on the day-to-day? On the day-to-day, we're trying to, of course, inspire them to achieve their academic and social potential. To dive a little bit into the weeds for that, I want to share with you, what is the vision for Eckerd Hill? What are we doing on the kind of the big picture, zoomed out on a global, broad level? What is Eckerd Hill's focus? When I earned your confidence in the spring, I set out to do some meetings with every faculty member, staff member, as much as I could get done in the spring and early fall. And out of those conversations, I found three things that Eckerd Hill needed. Eckerd Hill needed some unity. They needed unity around their grade levels, like all the sixth grade, all the seventh grade, all the eighth grade, and their teams. So, for example, we have 6 teams. We have 2 for each grade level. So unity among our interdisciplinary academic teams. And then unity instructionally across teachers that teach the same content, maybe math, but also the same exact like subject, like 7th grade accelerated math, for example. And then efficiency was this idea of like generating productive time that was meaningful and insinuated growth out of those things. And then also just a collective trust, building up credibility amongst different members of the school, inciting an comfortability amongst all the people, because we have a very large staff now. We're sitting at about 125 staff members, about 80 licensed, and about 40 that are classified. You're thinking of secretaries or custodians, of people that work in the cafeteria. So out of those three things, unity, efficiency, and trust, all of those go together. In my view, what we are trying to do at Eckerd Hill is build cohesion. Cohesion is unity, efficiency, and trust. And we're trying to build that in 3 areas. Our roles. What is the role of a teacher, a counselor, a principal, a student, all of those things. Our operations, we're trying to refine 4 specific things. How we handle behavior, how we do our intervention time, our advisory period, and then just speaking specifically to the efficiency piece, how we handle our Fridays, our after-school professional development, and then enhancing our culture, trying to build a culture of trust and comfortability, recognizing that we are merging. We're merging 2 schools, the former Treasure Mountain and Eckerd Hill, but we're also inviting in people that are not from either of those cultures. We have people that have joined our staff from Park City High or McPoland or otherwise. So we're trying to marry these things, and we recognize that we have great traditions and great histories that are built in the past. When we're marrying them, we retain some of those things and try and build on and try and establish new things. So that's kind of our vision. We are trying to build cohesion at Eckerd Hill. What does that look like on the day-to-day? What's our mission? Well, our mission is we as principals have identified 3 foci for ourselves. The first is, and this is based on, after having been in school for about a semester, we've identified these are our 3 big rocks, our 3 big things. How can we really move the needle at Eckerd Hill? This is a great school. How do we take it to the next level? From good, better, best. How do we get there? There are 3 things that we've identified. The first is our behavior. Why are we tackling behavior? We're trying to preserve instructional minutes. We find that dealing with behavior can be a drag on teachers. It's a drag on our time. It can be a drag on counseling time. A lot of these things don't need to be addressed, but it's like we want to preserve instructional minutes for students to be in class, doing the right thing, being productive. And so when we are going around giving feedback, this is for our instructional coaches, our principals, we're trying to give feedback that is centered on classroom culture and classroom management. So that's our first strand, is behavior. What's the second thing we're looking for is our multi-language learners and our multi-language learning program. Why are we focused on that? That's part of our strategic plan. We want to exit these students. We're trying to build a sense of productivity around it, trying to create cohesion around what does MLL programming look like at our elementary schools, recognizing that we're picking up some of these students from Trailside, McPolin, or otherwise. And then we might catch them in year 1, 2, 3, or 4, trying to exit them as much as possible or get them on the road to where they can be exited when they hit that 5th year by the time they get to the high school. And so our feedback looks like opportunities to respond. We want to enhance those so teachers are churning through those all the time, reading, writing, speaking, listening. And we want a huge emphasis on teaching and instruction in English to build that academic vocabulary for them on the academic side, but then that social vocabulary for them on the social side as they go in to take the WIDA exam, which is coming up just this next month. So that's one of our big assessments that's coming up in the year. And then our last one is you may be aware of our new English language arts curriculum, which is arts and letters. Our focus is trying to build cohesion around it. We recognize that our elementary schools and our elementary school teachers have taken this on. And then it comes to us, so we're doing it K-5, and then it finishes out 6-8 with us. So we want to enhance the fidelity with that programming so that students that have received instruction in that and make it the language and the routines and the process of that carries on and loops from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and then again through us once they get to 6, 7, 8. So these things are not new, and it enhances and builds on itself. You'll see in the curriculum that it spirals and it uses some of the same language and routines. So we're trying to build an orientation to what is that curriculum and fidelity towards it. We're giving feedback on those things. And so on the day-to-day, you're looking at 7 indicators that we are focused on. When you walk into Ecker Hill, when we're walking through classrooms, we're trying to see, hey, are teachers utilizing these 7 things? And they may be, and if they are, for example, not every teacher is teaching English language arts. So that's not a focus for them. Their focus may be on the other 4, and it may not be on classroom management. Then it's on opportunities to respond in English. Everyone can fall within this, and that's kind of what we're trying to enhance on the day-to-day as we're building cohesion as a system. This is what we're trying to do to enhance the instruction of Ecker Hill. And so to celebrate, what does that look like? Kind of give you just a little snapshot about where things stand. This is just from our RISE proficiency scores from last year. You can compare the state as a general whole to Ecker Hill. We have an 11.5 point positive for math, 21 on English language arts, and 22 on science. So these are incredible scores. They're positive. This isn't to say that we're done. Absolutely not. We're not resting on our laurels. Our goal is not to beat the state. Our goal is to beat ourselves, and we are so that we have those 7 foci because we are working in to move the needle on these things as they're tested, along with others such as WIDA and that. But a couple other highlights that were awesome is to name what Mr. Hughes was sharing. We are the only 4A middle school that had students qualify for state band. That is a big deal. And then this was the first time that both our concert and our band 3 qualified together for state band. So that is significant. We have a class that is called Tech Remix. We have 10 students in that class, and all 10 of them are going to represent Park City at the USET conference, which is the Utah State, the state of Utah's Education Technology Conference for educators. And so it's just really neat that they're able to present in that avenue. So these are just some of the successes kind of orienting to. We're really proud of our academics, and we have these other things to show for it. And we're going to continue to keep plugging along at it. These things are going to shift up. I'm confident, really proud of the direction we're going. One element of Park City Schools, of course, is our leadership. And so instead of highlighting like the leadership at Ecker Hill, I want to highlight where does student voice live out? What does student leadership look like? We have a couple avenues up here. I want to shout out our Tech Remix crew that is in charge of our announcements. They're helping to facilitate our marketing and outreach for our course scheduling. They put together some really impressive videos. They've done that with safety and otherwise, it's really neat. We had our leadership class that put on a food drive. This is back in the fall, then delivered that to the Christian Center, and this was a shout out to them through an article that was published in Town Live. We have our compost crew, peer tutors, which are helping out some of our most vulnerable students and building some of their daily life skills. We have a program called the Coffee Cart, and then assisting them in their classes. And then our Latinos in Action, which is a tremendous shout out from funding from the Ed Foundation, which helps to put that on. What you'll see in this picture is this is a parent evening night where all of these students led their parents in the efficacy of this program. Like, this is what Latinos in Action looks like. this is what we do here and this is why it is meaningful. It was entirely student-led. They had their own parts. It was rehearsed. And so these are just a couple avenues where student leadership exists at Ecker Hill. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to pick up the nascent, I would say, leadership skills and the desire for outreach amongst themselves that comes out of elementary and foster that so that it can really bloom with the dozens of opportunities that exist at the high school. So we have a few. It gets much bigger at the high school. We're trying to foster that as we're starting. So what is another element of positivity that comes out of Ecker Hill is just the way we communicate with staff. There are several different avenues up here. Weekly, I send out a what you need to know email. That's an effort to provide cohesion to our communication process. It comes from myself to teachers where they read it, identify the action items for the week, things to be aware of. I also send out a monthly video note by YouTube just to raise awareness for all families about what are like the main items that Ecker Hill has going on this month. But I think the two most meaningful, so those are from myself to families and staff. The two most meaningful is weekly, each team, and again, we have 6, put together what is called a week at a glance. They call it their WAG email. And in it, they list the scope and sequence of instruction along with any announcements. And that goes out from each team to each family every week. And then as part of our advisory program, we're trying to enhance executive functioning skills. One avenue that we have is on Thursdays, they do a parent email where they scan their Canvas, identify items that might be developing or missing, and then they write home about what they're supposed to be doing or working on. And our hope for that is one, to have them build the skill of looking and scanning for their grades and their marks, but also to start maybe open a conversation at home about, hey, what's going on at school? It's just another avenue to try and invite and incentivize that. And then I wanted to name some of the awesome partnerships and community alliances we have. And these are taken on not by myself, but by our teachers. So I want to highlight the staff at Ecker Hill who invites these folks in or thinks of these opportunities and enhances them. Or we have an exploring business and marketing class. We have the opportunity to have some of their founders and the folks that are over Chomp come in and speak to what does it mean to start a business. They fielded questions from them. They brought in some donuts. It was really popular. It was fun to communicate. It was a great way to just bring in the community, which was really neat. We had our Latino parent night. This was a way to invite families that identify as Latino and their students, talk about how do we read a report card? What does course programming look like? And that was put on by the teachers and the students there. Very successful. And then also you may be aware that we have a school resource officer that is part of every school. Ours, we have a very strong partnership with them. Officer Danielle Wyman's been part of our safety plan, has been part of our drills, and has also been part of some of our lessons that we've actually put on in partnership with our PE programming and our CT director, Tracy Fike. And then we've invited just some guest speakers from Summit County Health Department, the Peace House, and they've come in. And so I think Ecker Hill is if it has been a hub 6, 7, and then Ecker Hill or Treasure Mountain rather 8, 9. But this has really become the hub of middle school, and we are fielding a lot of these folks, people, programs as they all send into Ecker Hill and say, how do we support 6th, 7th, and 8th graders together? It's just really neat to see them all come together. And so all of these things kind of bragging about Ecker Hill, I want to just shout out, and this is the last piece, because they all come together in these 2 folks. So I want to give a tremendous shout out to 2 people, Ms. Andrea Sato, who was our counseling secretary. Andrea. And Mrs. Laura Glass, who is our one of our special education teachers. They embody cohesion for Ecker Hill because they have the 3 characteristics of unity, efficiency, and trust. They are fulcrums of the school where people will go to them and then they know how to field it, process with them, and then kick it out. They are great connectors within our school. Just to share a little bit about Laura Glass. This is on a Friday afternoon, late, like a 4:30 late. She's in literally a back room of the school because it's the only room available with like 12 team members. She's got a schedule on the board with some of our most vulnerable students, and she's trying to arrange help and support for them. And she's fielding with principals and with her aides and with colleagues, trying to organize all of this. And she's an advocate for that. So it's just a special moment and want to shout that out. Then I have Andrea Sato on our counseling secretary, who's the queen of counseling. Is the epitome of outreach. Everyone is coming to Andrea to feel things, and then she knows how to process them, identify what needs to be done, and then connect them with the right resource. Sometimes that's me, sometimes that's a teacher. She also has a great way of how to say, like, minimizing the affect that someone who may be escalated comes in to approach counseling, and so is building unity within that. They're both systems builders, Andrea in counseling, Laura Glass in special education. But I would say of all the things that I really appreciate about them is that they can be counted on to be counted in. They are part of Eckerd Hill. They want to enhance and build this new school together. They recognize the challenges and the opportunities and the positives of trying to steer an institution that has 1,100 people in it every single day. And they are giving their full-fledged effort to build that within their own system. And so I want to give a tremendous shout out to them, as they are the embodiment of what we are trying to do and to build at Eckerd Hill. So.
Finance along the Foundation in the Vale representative.
Isaiah, I have some questions for you after this photo.
I just want to say on behalf of the school district, Vale, and the Park City Education Foundation, thank you for embodying what it means to be one Park City and meeting our families and students at their level of need. So thank you, Andrea and Laura.
Yeah, actually, if I could say just a brief moment, brief something. I am here professionally representing Park City Mountain and the resorts and our relationship with the Park City Education Foundation on behalf of this award. But personally, I am also the son of a lifelong educator. My mother was an elementary school teacher, and she also spent a good portion of her career as a gifted and talented administrator for her school district. And so I got to see throughout my entire life all of the pieces of life that many people don't get to see. You know, the summer planning, the long evenings, going in every summer to prep the room, getting it ready for the class and the school year ahead, breaking it down at the end of the year. Like, that was my life as much as it was hers, because she was a single mother of 4 and we went everywhere that she went. And so, you know, I got to see the pieces of life that all members of our education community experience, but oftentimes don't get recognized for. So the fact that you're able to live your life as a personal, individual, but then bring all of that passion and focus to the school for our youth and to the community at large, just a great deal of gratitude from myself personally, and obviously on behalf of us professionally. So thank you. Andrea. You go in front of that. That was good. Let's do it.
You get more than just a certificate too.
Good, I'm good right here. Okay, you just instruct me where I should go.
That's all right, get it back up. All good.
Jen? Yeah.
So, what's great is not just a piece of paper that's very pretty. The Vale and Park City Mountain, the Epic Promise is also providing, prizes, so you can choose between $100 retail gift card, $100 restaurant gift card, or a free lift ticket at Park City Mountain. They're providing these prizes every month for the One Park City teachers. And not for the Ed Foundation. I mean, our mission is to support educator powered initiatives. Our students, without you guys, it doesn't happen. And so we just want to thank you so much. Thank you.
And then, yes, President Reed, please.
Well, it was inadvertent, but first of all, I want to congratulate you on getting 6-7.
Yeah.
As the middle school principal.
Oh, he's.
But when you.
Yeah, goodness.
I hope my children are cringing. But I appreciate you particularly calling out student leadership programs at the school.
Yeah,
And I'm just curious how those efforts with student leaders also align with the mission of the school to focus on behavior and classroom culture. And if there's any way that you thought, are you using those student leadership organizations to leverage them to impact classroom culture, or what are your thoughts about that?
This is a great thought. And I think there's been some like very early nascent talk, nothing that has been actually like deliberate or intentional yet. But that said, like early conversations with teachers like Rebecca Gonzalez and Hugo Moscoso about like what does student leadership look like, so that these students, for example, Latinos in Action, can set the example, that we hold them accountable, or they can be modular for things like for like behavior, like classroom management, classroom culture. And I also think that they're more broadly. So we need to do more with that. That's a great thought. I think more broadly is like the students that are involved in these programs excel at Eckerd Hill. They're doing really well. They're involved. They know the systems and the network of and I think going to this is how do we invite more students into these programs? How do we expand them so that they capture those kids so that they can be part of that, and maybe also on the back end it takes care of some of those things that we're trying to look and coach for. Yeah.
It was, yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I would love to see all of these,
Pieces come together.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
I think, I mean, across every community, across adults, across kids, I mean, everywhere, when other people around you are saying, these are our values and this is what, we expect from ourselves and each other,
Totally.
then that helps lift it up.
Right, yes.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
thank you. Yeah, anything else? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have a new athlete.
I just wanted to start by thanking you for having us this evening. And I actually think this is the perfect school board meeting for us to be at after what we just experienced with music and our educators. So with that, I'm gonna kick us off. So again, thank you for having us tonight. My name is Jess McCurdy. I've lived in Park City for the last 12 years, and I'm the mom of 4 boys who have all participated and benefited from Park City High School athletics. We are here today to discuss a foundational investment in our students, our school pride, and our community's future with the establishment of the Go Miners Athletic Foundation. This foundation particularly is very near and dear to me because 6 years ago, after seeing a need in the community to help bolster the high school football program by providing some basic football foundation to youth players, my husband and I took a leap of faith and co-founded Park City Passing League. Over the years, we have watched it grow into something far beyond what we originally imagined. With the support of our community, the league expanded from a simple Sunday program into an organization that helped transform Park City football, supported other athletic programs, and created meaningful opportunities to give back to our community and even some outside of it. Since our inception, we've raised and donated more than $600,000, built a strong and continually growing football community, and developed a mentorship program that connects today's players with the next generation of Park City athletes. But football is not the only sport here in our community that needs this. I hope to take this success and the learning lessons from Park City Passing League and apply them to all the athletic programs and athletes at Park City High School versus Go Miners.
So the mission of the Go Miners Athletic Foundation is to strengthen and sustain Park City High School athletics so that all students can participate, build life skills, celebrate school pride, and thrive in a healthy, connected school community. We believe that athletics are foundational, they're not extra. For many students, this is where they find their confidence, motivation, and belonging. It's where they learn to lead, to persevere, and to be part of something bigger than themselves. In a town like Park City, our students deserve world-class opportunities to play, grow, and connect just like they do in the classroom. And while the district has made important investments, especially in the new outdoor field and in academics, some real gaps remain. Coaches are competing for time and shared facilities. Students are traveling long distances just to train, and the challenges of living in a mountain town make consistent year-round training even harder, and families are left to fill in the gaps on their own. This foundation is being created as a strategic, long-term solution, not to take over and not to replace what's working, but to come alongside the district and to fill a specific and growing need in organized athletic support. Our goal is to bring equity, sustainability, and shared success to every program so that every student has the opportunity to participate, compete, and grow.
We want to take just a moment to show you what's possible. These images up on the slide come from peer districts across Utah, schools that have made deliberate future-focused investments in indoor athletic facilities. In places like Brighton, Morgan, Corner Canyon, Westfield, and many others, you'll find field houses with updated weight rooms, indoor turf fields, and multi-sport training spaces that are accessible year-round. These aren't luxury add-ons. They're part of a growing recognition that athletic spaces are about much more than competition. They support physical and mental wellness. They reduce missed class time. They give students consistency and coaches the tools they need to grow strong programs, as they make a statement about what a school and a community believe in their students deserve. Park City has never aimed for average. We're known for high standards, and we believe our athletic facilities should reflect the same level of excellence. These examples aren't out of reach. They're simply what's next. And with the right support, we can get there together.
And as we think about what's possible, it's important to be clear. This isn't about building just for one program or solving one single issue. The Go Miners Athletic Foundation exists to support all Park City High School athletic programs, from our sanctioned varsity sports to our growing community of student-led athletic clubs that you can see listed here. What these programs have in common is that they all bring students together. They teach resilience, leadership, and discipline, and they each deserve a consistent, equitable level of support. Our goal is to ensure that no matter what sport a student plays or what team they join, they feel supported and that their program has the resources it needs to grow. So with that mission in mind, the foundation is focused on 4 strategic priorities that will guide our work moving forward, each designed to reduce burdens, increase access, and support the long-term success of Park City athletics. First, we're preparing to launch a capital campaign to support both current and future athletic facility needs. In the near term, that includes raising funds through naming rights and donor opportunities that directly support upgrades already underway, like the new turf fields and tennis courts. Looking ahead, we hope to build the community support needed to make phase 3 of the athletic master plan a reality, including a dedicated indoor athletic training facility, a new gymnasium, and enhanced music spaces to support the students that we saw today and countless others. And we understand that demonstrated fundraising will likely be a key factor in moving that forward. That's where we come in. Our goal is to engage local partners, secure major gifts, help bring that next phase to life for all student athletes. Second, we're committed to reducing barriers to participation. That means helping fund essentials like uniform, transportation, and equipment, and ultimately working to lower the cost of playing, especially for students who need support most. We believe no student should be left out because of financial circumstances. Third, we're building parkcityminers.org, a centralized hub for communication. This will give families one place to find everything they need to know about all of these sports and clubs. They'll find schedules, team news, fundraising updates, volunteer opportunities. We want to simplify things for parents and improve coordination across programs and give every sport equal visibility. And finally, we're working hard toward a more streamlined, coordinated fundraising model. Right now, each team fundraises independently, often through separate nonprofits, which leads to a lot of duplicated effort and donor fatigue. In the short term, nothing changes. Those nonprofits will continue to work. Each team will continue, will continue those efforts and retain full control. But over time, our goal is to create a shared system that supports bigger opportunities like grants, sponsorships, and annual giving, while reducing that pressure on coaches and parents. Ultimately, this is about making fundraising easier, not taking away any current fundraising that teams have. We want to help raise more together so that the team by team fundraising becomes optional and not essential like it is now. These priorities, supporting facilities, reducing barriers, improving communication, and easing the fundraising burden are how we put our mission into action. They reflect what we believe as a foundation, and they're how we live out our tagline, our team, our town, our legacy.
To ensure long-term success, we've already taken key steps to build a strong foundation. Over the past several months, we've reached out to the coaches of every athletic program to share the foundation's mission, gather their input and answer questions. The responses have been overwhelmingly positive. What we heard was consistent coaches want support, sustainability, and relief from the pressure of constant fundraising so they can focus on coaching. We've also built a board of directors that reflects the broader Park City athletic community. We've made it a priority to invite representation from every sanctioned sport and recognized club. While not every program currently has a representative on the board, every program was invited to participate. Inclusivity and balance are core to how we want to move forward. We've also initiated our 501c3 application to operate as a formal nonprofit. This step will allow us to accept tax-deductible donations, apply for grants, and ensure transparency moving forward. At next month's meeting, we'll formally request that the board approve the recognition of the Go Miners Athletic Foundation as a component unit of the district. This step is essential. It allows us to fundraise in alignment with the district, partner with your leadership, and move forward with shared purpose. If approved, here's how we plan to move forward. The first step will be launching our capital campaign. We've already begun laying the groundwork, outlining our campaign structure, identifying lead donor opportunities, and developing a strategy around naming rights for both existing improvements and future facilities. These are the kinds of opportunities that allow families, businesses, and alumni to make a visible, lasting impact. We will also be introducing an annual giving program that provides a simple, sustainable way for supporters to contribute year after year. This program will help level the playing field across sports and ensure every program has a consistent baseline of support. In addition, we're developing a calendar of signature fundraising events that bring the community together to celebrate athletics and student success. These events will offer something for everyone, parents, alumni, and the broader Park City community, and create a culture of giving and involvement. We'll also be pursuing regional and national grants, as well as building relationships with corporate sponsors, local philanthropic partners who believe in investing in youth, wellness, and education. These aren't just ideas, these are actionable steps with plans already in motion. Our team is in place. Our vision is clear, and with your support, we'll be ready to move quickly, responsibly, and in close coordination with the district to make this vision real.
And finally, we want to let a few of our students and alumni speak for themselves. As we've shared this vision with the community, we've heard some truly meaningful stories from current athletes, graduates, and even parents of future minors about what athletics has meant in their lives. As you hear their words, we hope you'll see not just the impact, but the responsibility we all share to ensure that opportunity exists for every student moving forward. This is a quote from Michelle Stevens, an elementary parent. Baseball was a turning point for our son. It gave him confidence, a sense of belonging, and motivation to stay healthy. Without these experiences, I'm not sure he would feel as prepared or connected heading into middle school. This is from Sienna Darling, class of 2024, currently at Yale. Athletics has shaped my discipline, work ethic, and long-term goals. Without access to a track my senior year, I trained off campus every day, but I shouldn't have had to. With better facilities, future athletes could focus on performance, not logistics. And this is a quote from Lauren Peterson, class of 2020. She went to UVA and is currently with Goldman Sachs. High school athletics taught me to keep going even when the path is hard. It prepared me to manage pressure, overcome adversity, and put in the work. Skills that helped me succeed at UVA and now at Goldman Sachs. Park City's investment in sports isn't just about the game, it's about preparing kids for life.
Tonight, you've heard our vision and our plan. We're not just asking for support for athletics, we're asking for investment in student health, equity, and opportunity. Park City is known for excellence. Let's make sure athletic infrastructure reflects the same commitment, not just for the students playing today, but our generations to come.
So our request is simple. In February, we'll ask for your formal approval to recognize the Gil Myers Athletic Foundation as a component unit of the district. We're ready, the community is ready, and with your support, we can take the next step together. We're happy to answer any questions you guys have, and thank you for the time and your commitment to Park City students on and off the field.
So will we have, like we have the Education Foundation, like a memorandum of understanding with you guys? Is that what we're?
Yes, they operate very similarly. So next month, there will be a decision item on the agenda.
Two logistics questions. Do you anticipate this current leadership team that we've used to build all this so far continuing afterwards? Okay.
Yes.
And then do you picture a facility just for district use or for community and Park City School District use?
I think that's an interesting thing. It's a way, it could be a potential revenue stream if we rented out the facility, and I'm sure there will definitely be needs in the community for that, and I'm sure we're looking at major donors who might want to partner with that, and that might come with some sort of agreement that they would get to use the facility with the Olympics coming and things like that. There's major opportunities there. But that's something that we would align with you guys.
So, and we could look at something similar to what we currently have as an interlocal agreement with the city and Basin Rec. That's something we could explore.
And for example, I don't know if you know, Basin Rec is talking about a new facility next to Ecker, and that requires a lot of collaboration with public and private entities. We'd be love if there will be many more of those.
Yes. I think for, well.
Go ahead, Jess. No, go ahead, Jess.
I was just gonna say, I think, you know, our main focus right now is our high school students and giving them every opportunity where they can stay on campus. And they're not missing school and they have the facilities accessible to them. Will it open up a lot of other opportunity to the community and for our elementary age kids and our middle school? Of course it will. However, there's such a need right now for our high school students.
Yeah, for this group, if you haven't had the opportunity to travel around the state or have a child who participates in high school athletics, our facilities are grossly inadequate and have been, we're talking 10, 15 years.
Morgan.
So this is not a.
Respect to Morgan, like, wow.
That is, so I have people who tell me that gym has looked the same since the 90s when I was in high school. So this is an opportunity to give our students a state-of-the-art facility, just like we have done with the different academic facilities that have recently come online. And they're competing for, I mean, right now with Dozier being offline for spring sports, we are already competing for field space, and that now that's become even more tight. At some point, a user group is going to be impacted, and right now is going to be our younger user groups, because high school athletics is taking priority with Dozier being offline.
You really get going an equestrian team could be in.
Anything's possible. Yeah.
I would just say thank you. I mean, just I know where this came from and sort of from the genesis to see what you've taken it to. It's awesome. And thank you also for recognizing the connection to music, because I do think that extracurriculars as a whole are related and equally important. And I think this was the perfect time for you to come and do this, but just the volume of work you've put in already to get it to this point.
Right.
And so proactive in understanding the financial constraints we do have and seeking a solution to that. Just, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I agree. I echo Nick's comments. We started out as a what if off the cuff conversation, so it's impressive to see where we're at now and where we can potentially go as partners. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just, you just said it, but I just really think it's so valuable, and I want to recognize this and nurture it wherever it pops up in our community, but working for a solution and working to bring something positive and not just saying, oh, it sucks that we don't have this. So how are we going to change that and what are we going to do to make that better? So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And our sporty spice.
Didn't intend it. This is the right person.
I will, a personal testimony, I would not be sitting in the seat without athletics. I started at the age of 5 and still pretend like I am athletic. But yeah, it changed the trajectory of my life.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you very much.
Next.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Missy and Jen with the preschool. Oh, just Missy, that's okay.
Stuck with just me, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sure we are
And promotionals for Amy's joining me. Of course, stands for Jen Schwimmer. Oh, wow. You get all of us. It's okay. Two emotional support people. So I'm just here to talk about, we've gone through the preschool curriculum adoption process. And so we're presenting what we found out. So first thing is we really noticed this year is we had multiple classrooms in all 4 elementaries, and everybody was doing their own thing. We didn't have any curriculum. New teachers were like, hey, what do we do? And it was like, good luck. So yeah, well, here's a classroom. It's beautiful. And teach. So really it was looking at the Utah approved curriculum and saying what would work for what we provide here, because we are really unique. We provide a full day 3-year-old and a full day 4-year-old. So what curriculum would work and what works for our population. So, and the big thing is, does it tie to Utah state standards? Does it have early literacy development, foundational numeracy skills, and the social emotional all tied in? So that's what we were looking for. So what we did is we followed the timeline. In August, September, we had student and teachers' needs were identified due to the absence of the curriculum. Then in October, we created the curriculum committee, which was formed. It included preschool teachers, parents, these 2 wonderful district administrators, and John Hall. And then me, my instructional coach, Jen Schwindeman, who was home sick, and I think she's watching on Zoom, so hi, Jen, and teaching and learning staff. In November, we had the curriculum committee create, what are we really looking for in curriculum? So then we created the rubric from that. And then just last Friday, we had 2 curriculums presented to the committee, because we really found out that most curriculums did not have everything that we needed. So we had 2 present to the committee, and what's amazing is we did a blind survey, and what came back is 100% of the committee chose one single curriculum, which was Broad Street. So the reason why the committee went with Broad Street, go ahead and press next, is it's research-driven instruction. The curriculum is focused on physical, social, emotional, cognitive, and language development. It has a social emotional emphasis. It's based on conscious discipline, integrating self-regulation, character development directly into daily routines and creating a safe, optimal learning environment. As you know, our 3-year-olds, we're really working on them being able to voice how they're feeling, and it really works on having kids explain how they're feeling every single morning. So it's differentiated learning. The teachers were so excited. It actually has differentiated for our English language learners and for special needs. Every single lesson has that differentiated for both
of those groups of kids. So I have not seen a curriculum that had that, so they were so excited for that. And it ensures equitable access to high quality early education. It actually has STEAM integration. It has coding, it has a little coding frog. So our 4-year-olds will be coding with this little coding frog, teaching it how to hop across this mat, which I'm so excited to see how this works. It has continuity of care as a seamless transition from our 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds. So they're not getting the same thing. It'll be different curriculum for each age group. And then it has distinct age-based curriculum, and that was a big thing. I don't want our kids reading the same books for 2 years in a row. I want different for them, so they are really progressing, and that's the big thing. So that's about our curriculum. Any questions?
The frogs are cute. It comes with puppets, it
Yeah.
comes with the coding frog, it's really, when we talk about a comprehensive curriculum and I think what's interesting is John Hall was there with me on Friday and he's like, our high school math teachers would love this. Just how well thought out it is, and we love that the idea that it's connected back with conscious discipline, which has taken root at Carly's Park with those smart brain start activities, where students really do have that opportunity to connect with themselves and each other at the start of every day and at the closing session. So it just really feels like a really nice integrated program, and I think our teachers really are going to be able to take a lot from that right from day one, but also then kind of start to put their own touches on it, which is exciting. So.
And we had veteran teachers and newer teachers, and everybody just seemed
The
excited.
parents on the committee were like, I'm jazzed about what my kids are gonna come home. It's thematic. We know that in our community, we have a lot of families that children have lots of opportunities in the home. But this also allows students who maybe don't have as many opportunities to have the same entry point. So like our knowledge building curriculum, it's very aligned. It's aligned to the science of reading. So when we talk about the phonemic awareness pieces and then the early literacy skills, it's a heavy emphasis there. So it's just like green lights all, if you've read that one, green lights all the way around. It was great.
I just want to highlight Missy's systems level leadership and wearing that lens and understanding what's happening in our elementary schools and building backwards to 3 and 4-year-olds to make sure they have that early literacy and appropriate development so they're ready when they enter kindergarten. So thank you, Missy.
I would love it if we could share this with the governor who wants to promote literacy in Utah, like providing early childhood education.
Please share this
quality
with the
early childhood. Has a direct impact on elementary school kids.
So yeah, after today, similar to our next presentation as well, we'll open up that 30-day public comment period. And hopefully at the February board meeting have on the consent agenda, the approval to move forward with Frog Street for implementation next year in our schools.
And next time bring preschoolers.
I steal a cycle. I know the pictures.
With a 3-year-old, I know.
I've seen them at 3:30. I don't know. But you are welcome anytime to come. I will walk you through. They are super cute. Just not at nap time. That 1 o'clock is not a good one. Thank you so much for supporting preschool.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, do you guys mind hanging out for just a minute? Sorry, just because.
Jump around.
And we're gonna shift things up just a tad. I can shake your enthusiasm. Keep it going. We normally have public comment at 5, and since we're right around that time, is anyone here for public comment? I just wanted to be respect. I mean, it's great if we don't. Then we. Okay, sorry. I should have. Now you can come. So we're gonna get, just for people don't have the agenda in front of them, this is an overview of how we're using AI in our schools, because I think it's all over the place. Everybody is talking about it, and listen to NPR like I'm gonna win something. We hear it a lot. I mean, in the media, for parents, for students.
There's a lot. I want to say I was very happy that I can say I have a very little part of this, except that I did hire Ryan for a very different job. And he's like, hey, I have an interest in AI. He's now really taking the lead on all of our AI work, and it's been wonderful. So I enjoy it.
All right, well, hi, everyone. So I'm Ryan. So among the things I do for the tech department is working with AI, and specifically this AI committee that we created last year. So we got some people from every single building in lots of different roles, so we could make sure we had kind of a representative group of our district's employees and interest groups to say, okay, what are we actually going to do? So we put together on the left side and see some of our kind of purpose statements. We're not doing AI just because it's new and cool. We're doing it for specific reasons that align with our vision and mission. So we're wanting to use it ethically, intentionally. We want to support our personalized learning. Academic integrity is kind of a big talking point among educators nationwide. And then we also want to provide teachers with kind of productivity tools, enhance their instructional design, and give students an opportunity to have some exposure to future technology as it evolves. So some of the things that we do with those guiding points in mind, we've developed a lot of AI guidance and professional developments that we've given to teachers. We also are testing, piloting, and implementing some AI tools, both for staff and for students. And we're listening to staff throughout all of our buildings and gathering their feedback, implementing that as we adjust our guidance. So one of our biggest lifts on the next slide this year is that we have gotten licenses to Magic School, which is a platform for teachers and for students to use kind of AI tools. It's a multi-tool suite, so 80 or so different tools that teachers can use for planning, differentiating, assessing, that sort of thing. And also AI that students can use. However, I want to emphasize that students don't just log in and use Magic School for whatever they want. This platform requires teachers to set up kind of a classroom for students. They give the AI, here are my standards, here's my lesson plan, here's the way I want you to interact with my students. And then it allows the student to log in and interact with the AI only in the kind of parameters that the teacher has defined. This is very safe, very guided. So we're using Magic School to try to do kind of a responsible and guided AI integration with our students, giving them some exposure, personalizing their learning a little bit. And it's also a very safe and privacy-focused platform. It's been reviewed by the state of Utah. UEN did statewide contracts with a few different AI providers, and this is the one that was selected after we did a significant pilot.
Brian, can I ask you to explain a walled garden versus like a large language model similar to ChatGPT, so everyone understands the difference?
Yeah, so ChatGPT, as I'm sure most of you are aware, you just get online, ask it something, and it will tell you whatever. But it will also take anything that you put in there and give it to the company, OpenAI. And now they have that information and anything that it said back to you, and they kind of start building a history about you. So that data is not secure or private. Magic School functions completely differently. So none of the information that the teacher or the students put into Magic School ever makes it out to any of these large AI companies. It stays secure. And none of the outputs that Magic School gives to the teachers and the students, also none of that goes to the companies. None of this data is ever used for training or improving these models or for advertising or for building social profiles of our students or anything like that. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do we know that the data is accurate, with what's going in? Because it could be anything, it's just an internal, the universe is smaller.
I'm sorry, can you clarify the question?
Well, I mean, we went to a meeting, Kathleen, and she's on the Zoom call, where they have a program in Ogden. Are you familiar with the program in Ogden?
Potentially, I work with the Ogden folks quite a bit. So.
It's very robust AI program, and I would, I'll talk to you later if you'd like about what they are doing there. It's something very similar, but far more robust from what you're explaining today. So if a student, for example, is taking a test or is putting in all this information data, and then that goes into the database here, what if that information is all inaccurate? So then AI is feeding back inaccurate information to the next student who comes along and says, here's the question I'm asking you, and AI spits out inaccuracies.
I totally understand what you're saying. So
Sorry,
like
I'm not more
ChatGPT gets trained on the information on the
Yes,
conversations
exactly.
we have. That does not happen with Magic School. They've already trained the model and it's static. So the
okay.
inputs and outputs don't go back into retraining.
I see.
That's a big concern and it doesn't happen. So that's a good thing.
It does not have that risk of hallucination, if
Right,
you will,
right.
similar to these large language models like Gemini,
Mhm.
ChatGPT, Claude, and those others.
Right.
Was it at USDA?
Yes, yes, it was really an excellent presentation, and we got the slide, the slides that they presented as well, so I think it would be a good opportunity to learn from them, because they've been doing this for a couple of years, several years, so.
And I said, I'll add on to that, that we made a really conscious decision early on to be very deliberate in how we rolled out any AI stuff. My joke is, we don't want to be on the bleeding edge because we don't want to bleed.
Right.
So like, I know there are some districts who've done some really good stuff, they're willing to push a little more. We very intentionally said, yeah, we're gonna be fast followers, kind of slow followers. We know this is important. It's important to expose our kids and our students to our teachers to this, but also we want to make sure others are kind of paving the way and taking some of those lumps that we're learning from that while we go. That was very intentional.
You go first. You go ahead.
Yeah.
What is the take up from teachers? I guess, are all of our teachers using this? Are there some very resistant teachers?
I mean, he's got some.
Yeah, well, pay for that introduction later.
Thank you so much. So our pilot phase was August, September, October, so you can see kind of the usage was relatively low there, and then a big spike in November. That's when we introduced it to all of our secondary teachers for use by them or with their students. And now in January, we are doing training for elementary and pre-K teachers as well. The student use will only be in 4th and 5th grades for the elementary. So we'll see a small uptick in student usage, but a significant uptick in teacher usage. And then we do have a few other AI tools that we've improved for staff only. And you can see that list here.
What is that second one?
Diffit, it's sort of a portmanteau of differentiate it, where you can kind of put in any text or video, or even just type in a topic, and it will create lesson plans and kind of worksheets and materials, and you can level those up or down. And you can translate them to different languages, just differentiation powered AI sort of stuff. We actually have that one via a grant. And then if you'll go to the last slide, I just also wanted to emphasize the way that we review these AI tools. We prioritize data privacy and safety. We hear lots of kind of horror stories about AI in the news. And so any of those tools that you've ever heard bad things about, we block those on our network. And we're constantly vigilant about not just reviewing things, but re-reviewing, because sometimes these companies make changes to their platforms that make them no longer compliant with our educational space. And so we're very vigilant about the data privacy and safety.
Yeah, and a good example is fairly recently, OpenAI said, ChatGPT for adults will now start to be able to provide adult content. They asked, and once we were, Ryan was being connected with this stuff, but hey, this is coming. That's actually now a tool we blocked for adults and students. We already blocked it for students. We blocked it for adults as well. Just because we don't want to get into any of those gray areas, particularly since we have other tools like Gemini that do very similar things and don't have some of those issues. But it is a constant battle as it is with all the filtering.
A lot of sad educators
Yes.
had to break up with ChatGPT.
Yes.
And engage with Gemini, and they didn't love what Gemini was producing, because every platform produces very differently.
And then the final slide is just what questions do you have for me and my contact information if you have sort of a longer form interaction that you want to chat about these things.
So I have one other question. What controls do we have around students? I mean, obviously we can control what they can access on their school devices. What controls do we have around them using a ChatGPT on their own device?
We don't have any controls on them, because if it's your personal device, it's a personal device, you can touch that. Now,
Well,
those devices are,
technical perspective, I understand that, but I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of instructional standards and like how are we able to monitor or influence any of that?
In theory, their cell phones, if you will, should be locked in yonder pouches in grade 6 or 12, so they shouldn't be accessing their device, but
School time, presumably they're doing a lot of work outside of school.
yes, and unfortunately, we cannot govern what they're accessing from a personal device. I know there's conversations at Ecker to block YouTube because that has become a concern for many families. So we're having that conversation about blocking YouTube for our 6-8 students.
Do we have any tools that can pick up work that appears to have come from an AI tool?
Yes, a couple of our platforms have. I'll let Ryan speak.
So we've developed some guidance, we have a whole academic integrity guidance document for teachers that addresses these types of issues. So first of all, there are AI detection tools, but they are always kind of a step behind the most cutting edge AI models. The main conclusion there is that they're not 100% accurate, and public institutions have lost lawsuits when using that as proof. So instead, we can use these AI detectors not as proof that a student cheated, but rather as like a conversation starter. So I think, this doesn't look like your writing, student. Can we do a verbal comprehension check? Can you do a little handwriting check? Can we assess this same standard in another way? That sort of thing. Can we compare this writing to the student's prior writing samples? So we have several options for teachers to check when they suspect that AI has been used.
One of the things in this course that we had attended, or a lecture that Meredith referenced, was how that when a teacher does that to a student or says to a student, I'm not comfortable with what you've written on your material, but it breaks a significant bond of trust with the student and creates so many social problems in the classroom as a result. Have we had any of those issues go on? I have no idea.
I would be concerned about the way in which that teacher approached the individual student. That should be a one-on-one conversation,
Right.
not a classroom discussion
Of course,
amongst their
of course.
peers. What I will say is teachers have gotten better about being explicit. Think of a stoplight, red light, no AI. Yellow, you can use some AI. Green,
Have at it.
have at it. But being very explicit and intentional with your students about your expectation. I am not aware of our teachers, not to say it hasn't happened, calling out a student and it impacting social circles.
Do we have some that are just straight, no AI under any circumstances?
Yes,
I'm assuming.
yes, yes.
How?
We're working on it.
Okay, so that's kind of what I'm coming. I mean, I think what's encouraging about this to me is that, I mean, we can't hide truths, right?
Correct.
And it's how do we facilitate it in a productive manner?
this is definitely a question of all deliberate haste. We know we have to move, but we're trying to be very, very thoughtful as we move, because this is messy and ever changing, which is sort of what we do for a living. So, do you have a question?
Yeah, as the people building it for the students and teachers, how do you want to build it into the curriculum over the next couple of years, mainly using AI as a tool? Oh, no, Missy.
Ms. Jenkins?
Yeah, right. Well, I think we're waiting to see how the legislative session.
There are a number of bills. Yeah.
I do think, one of the things that's most powerful here is the makeup of the committee. Because they're the ones that are really using these tools in the classroom with the students, the students are interacting with it. Where are the spaces where we're seeing a lot of success, where maybe, there's been failed attempts at engaging students. But I think we have to be, to Drew's point, like brave but cautious at the same time. And just always making sure that, the learner as a whole is taken into account. But also then keeping an eye on what's going on in the industry outside of high school, right? So, I'm really excited about the people who are excited about AI, because I know all of us can't. I wish I had half of Brian's brain around this, but we're so fortunate that he's passionate about this and is leading this work with this group. It's definitely a team approach, so we'll keep iterating as we hear more.
If the legislature didn't exist.
And the vision of.
So many things. Yeah.
Funding would not be.
Yeah. I spent all morning reading legislation, so.
Okay, got it.
Triggered a little bit, but.
Here's what I'll say, we have to continue to remind our staff, it is a tool, it's not the tool.
Right.
Think about calculators, laptops, now AI, right? It is a tool, it should never replace that human interaction and the relationship piece that our teachers are so good at.
I just had one AI example, tying back to the sports conversation. My Google AI, my phone, while I was watching the NFL playoffs this weekend, gave me the result of an NFL playoff game before the game had finished. And the result was wrong.
That Rams Bears game?
I couldn't remember exactly which one, I think it was actually. And for the information Google gave me to be correct, it would have had to have been like 4 scores in the last minute and a half. So, yeah, sorry.
Another a skill our kids need, fact checking.
Yes.
And recognizing
Yes.
misinformation.
Any other questions? And certainly, if you have any questions that come up with thinking about it, please feel free to reach out to Ryan, to myself, be happy to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, emotional support, Amy, is that?
I know, right? That's not the real Amy. So you need to be shown. Okay, we're on a roll. So this is a different. A little bit of a different process because I don't think we've ever been in this position before. So we're coming to you today with a recommendation that we update our K-3 literacy materials. You're like, wait, what? We just did this. Update our K-3 literacy materials because Great Minds published a newer version of their program. So we adopted Wit and Wisdom a couple of years ago, along with the 95% suite, and that has been in place. And now we were coming to you saying after the adoption of grades 4 through 8, arts and letters, we would like to bring K-3 up to the most current version as well. So we formed a committee. There really isn't something written in policy specific for this example. So we kind of had to take the best of what the policy does for us and follow a similar process just so that we made sure we gathered the input we needed and collected information. So with both versions approved from Great Minds, we would like to follow do a possible migration to the Arts and Letters program. Next slide. So why now? Just a little rewind to kind of connect some pieces. When we adopted Wit and Wisdom, we were on a timeline set by Senate Bill 127. And we were just talking about this today. We held out to the very last minute to understand the full scope of what Senate Bill 127 and the approved curriculum lists that were coming out so that we really had the full scope in front of us and could choose the best high quality instructional material we possibly could. That pushed us to that deadline that we had to satisfy. We had to make an assurance to the state in September of that year that we implemented to say, yes, we've adopted something that has been vetted and approved by the state. So since then, and all along the way, Great Minds has been collecting feedback from teachers that had been using Wit and Wisdom for 10 years across the nation. And so a lot of that feedback was gathered and then helped to shape the newer version, Arts and Letters. And so in the fall of this year, the dust kind of settled on some K-3 literacy stuff. We could kind of like bring our heads up above water. We started exploring the possibility, what would it look like to move and have a strengthened K-8 system in literacy. So next slide. So we, this is you. Yeah, she's gonna tell you a little bit about what's changed.
So a lot of the physical part of the curriculum has changed, but the modules have not really changed. If you look up at the screen, the purple ones are the same modules and essential questions. So the essential question of each module is kind of the connecting piece to all the different literature, art, nonfiction text.
The blue is the same topic, but a new essential question. And basically they made the essential questions a little more relatable to the grade levels that they are working for. I mean, I think the C, how do people explore the C for third grade? I think before it was something like, how do artists, writers, and scientists use the C for inspiration? Which was a little difficult for our third graders. So this kind of streamlines those questions. And then the only new topic would be the world tales in module 4 of first grade, which was Cinderella. So it's kind of the same idea. The next part. We took feedback from parents, teachers about what might, these are the positives, the benefits of switching over. So for the learners, for our students, the resources are more student friendly. The workbooks have lines in them and page numbers, small details that are really frustrating in the middle of the class to tell your students to go to the page that looks like this. They use the same kindergarten and first grade lines with the top line, the bottom line, the midline. They reduce the cognitive load. The lessons are shorter. We had 90 minutes for language arts, but with the 95%, it's a long language arts block. These lessons were 90 minutes. So in theory, to get through a whole language arts lessons with both materials, it would have been 120 minutes, which we don't have. So these lessons are shorter. And there's a clear learning path. I said about the essential question, they're more straightforward. The teacher, it's an improved instructional design. The manuals are easier to follow. They give a little more teacher autonomy in what they can do, what choices they can make in the instructional routines and strategies. So it's not so dialed in, scripted. The pacing's a little more manageable because it's 60 minutes and it has a better digital tool where they can find information to use the materials. And for the parents, the continuous continuity of the K through 8. So right now, while it's similar, K through 3 is a different program than 4th grade. They switched to arts and letters up to 8th grade. So it would be easier for parents to know it's the same workbook, it's the same, all the same products. And then improved engagement, they're more kid-friendly materials. And parents would like those. Challenges and concerns. We didn't have any challenges and concerns for our students. They will still be happy learners. The teachers, we thought about transition fatigue, switching this so quickly on them after we just kind of got our footing. But we had a training today of wit and wisdom that can be used for arts and letters. So it's the same, professional development.
I've used the word architecture. So the way that the two programs are built, it's built in the same, they use they call them content stages. So those are in wit and wisdom. They are also in arts and letters. So the engine that runs the program is the same. It's just updated in the ways that Katie has reflected. So the teachers are getting professional development today and tomorrow that is immediately applicable to tomorrow in their classrooms, but then also if we move in this direction. So
teachers were concerned about the learning curve and the prep time. But again, we waited to the last minute for wit and wisdom, so it didn't get delivered until August. We're a little ahead of the game, so I think we have time to learn the materials, the manual, the routines. And parents were concerned that there would be standards gaps if we switch over. If they had first grade wit and wisdom, will they miss something in second grade? They will not. So those were the challenges and concerns that people had.
So we're here today in January making the recommendation to start that 30-day window for some public input. And we hope to come back in February and have this approved. We would work through the spring months to work with our coaches. This is the other wonderful thing about Great Minds. We have implementation coaches, not just a salesperson, although he's wonderful today. I have more chocolate in my office because of him, but Sean's great. But we actually have implementation coaches who are with us along the way, helping us evaluate how is the implementation going, where do we need some more support, what are, sort of what's the status check of things based on our vision and goals for the school district and then student performance. So we continue to work with them to plan for the implementation. And this is something that their company has been doing for the last year now, or 2 year, going into 2 years, with migrating schools that were existing Wit and Wisdom schools over to Arts and Letters. Also provide some additional planning time to our teachers to support those K-3 spaces to get ready for what they need. Again, much of these, the learning that they've had over the last year and a half is transferable. What's been fun is we have a teacher at Trailside who is teaching language arts in both 3rd grade and 4th grade. So in one day she teaches both. And she's been just the teacher whisperer. She's like, y'all, it is going to be life-changing. An example would be Wit and Wisdom requires that the teacher take a composition notebook, and every module has to recreate pages for students, whether it's paste things in there, and it's like a journal, a writing journal
They
for
have a
them.
writing journal, a vocabulary journal.
It's all teacher
And a folder.
created. And so it's heavy prep, and now this will all be in the student consumables. And it was like, just having one teacher share that with another during our committee meeting was like, you could just feel the relief, you know, of like, oh, I get all that time back. I'm not spending 20 hours over a weekend getting ready for the new module. They're so excited about it. They're really pushing to try and do module 3 with the new materials, but we would rather spend the time getting ready for module 1 in August and really doing it well. So that I think we will offer that planning time, but so many of the teachers just are ready to go. So I would say 100% teachers are in support of this. So we would see that happening in August. So any questions?
Is it unusual to have the longevity of a curriculum be this short? I don't know.
Wit and Wisdom Wit and Wisdom has been published for over 10 years. So their longevity, I would say, is standard. Ours, I think artificially, we had to meet that deadline by the state. And so it's not ideal. We understand that, but we also know that one of our visions for our students in this system is that the experience from K-8 is now very cohesive. And we're looking for the new math adoption that'll be coming potentially next year, that we follow that same model. So I think it just strengthens that system for our learners.
Yeah, we learned a lot by delaying the adoption because other districts were adopting some of these other curriculums that had been vetted. And
buyer's remorse and
yes,
because now they're having to cycle it where it's not
Yeah.
not on the bleeding edge. I think they're not controversy. You don't want to be.
So we're actually presenting to the state literacy directors meeting on Thursday, the 3 of us, about our implementation approach. Because it has been very successful and it has yielded the results we had hoped.
Great. I think it's important to say all that because the stress on the individual teachers in the classroom going from one transition to another in a short time.
And I think if the architecture, that under the hood engine of the system was so vastly different, we would consider how fast we would move with that. But knowing, like I said, we mentioned content stages, they follow the exact same sequencing, you know, so there will be a lot of familiarity in the newness. It's like leasing a car, I'm gonna say, and you've had the, 2020 version and now you have the 2025. There's gonna be a lot of similarities if it's the same brand and same model. It's just figuring out where all the buttons are. So
some of our K-3 teachers who have seen Arts and Letters, but are currently implementing Wit and Wisdom, they're like, I want that.
Yeah, they do. So, and we would not move forward unless we felt very sure that this is the will of the teachers, because at the end of the day, as we know, all of that work happens in the classroom and all of that additional learning is supported by the coaches and the principals. And if they're ready for it, then we're gonna say, yes, this is a good move for us. Great questions. Great. We're excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna take a comfort.
Okay.
For me, and if anybody else. Getting dark.
Oh, okay. I need to, just let me have. Yes. 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 Calendar. Also, that 30 days. But if it has to be a full 30, that's the, and that's counting weekends and you're still not. That'll give us some time to get a process. I mean, I understand. No, for school. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that has to be on your. Well, if they're following. I think that's their following. You know, but they're following. They said.
So that's the question. So our process is 3 days.
Yeah, so it's fine. I don't know what that he sounded. It was not, yeah. It won't be on. It may not. Yeah, I subsume this other stuff. I don't, no, I think I do find the time. Too many, there's too much, and this is such an unusual year, no snow, is it gonna happen again, and I'm very exhausted. There's a lot of anxiety. It's my sense of it. I think it's. You know, things for some reason. All the way, this athletics, it really is a shame. No. Yeah. If I think it's really bite. Oh, that is smart, yeah. Okay.
Hey, calendar. Yeah. We've already formally adopted the 26-27 school year calendar, so we're just focused on 27, 28, 28, 29, because we do want to have a 3-year calendar so that our families can plan accordingly. Not much has shifted. I'll highlight a couple of shifts. First one being, let's talk about fall break in 27, 28. It is back to that earlier Thursday, Friday. We are the only, that I'm aware of, public school district that recognizes the Jewish holiday. And that school year, it falls on the 11th. So if we were to adhere to the rest of the school districts and when they recognize fall break, that means we're out of school Monday. We come Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're out of school Thursday, Friday. From a learning standpoint, that's not good for kids. So the group agreed. I won't say there was consensus because it's not ideal for fall sports. Because when we're not adhering to what the rest of the state is doing, it impacts especially football. Because if you recall, they play on the Wednesday before, so they have enough time before fall break, and this will impact football in particular. We're hopeful because it is 27, 28 that perhaps they can be intentional when they go to schedule that and create the region schedule. So for that school year, it will be very similar to this school year. And I recognize some families appreciated being able to travel because not the rest of the state wasn't traveling, but it does have an impact on fall athletics. So that's the first thing to highlight. And then we did bump the professional development day to the second Friday in November. We did not want to impact or compete with Live PC, Give PC. That happened this last fall. So we were aware of that and made sure it did not fall on that same Friday. And then we embedded the professional development day in January, so families will still be on winter break that Monday, January 3rd. But staff will have sort of that soft entry back into reality, with no kids on that Monday. And what we're calling that is a no-touch day, so there's no training, there's no PD, it's really just them in their classrooms prepping to welcome kids back from winter break. Any questions on 27, 28? We still have our makeup snow days. Spring break is still that second full week of April. We maintained February recess for the entire week. And then the last day of school would be June 2nd. 28, 29, we return back to a normal fall break, aligning with the rest of the state. Again, you see that January 2nd date, that's a Monday, allowing for teachers to return without having students in the class. Still have a full week at February break, still have a full week at spring break, last day of school is June 1st. Any questions? It'll be a decision item in a few minutes.
I'll see if you were paying attention.
Yes.
There is gonna be a conference. Okay.
So moving on, we now have the consent agenda, which includes the regular session minutes of December 16th, the closed session minutes from December 16th, the charter bus contracts, travel request, underground right-of-way easement, I believe that's for utilities, not for a tunnel. Corrective action plan for the SLT compliance review for 24-25. Personnel check registers from December and board revenue and expenditures from December.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
That was a time from.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Kathleen said aye. Okay. And now we will move on to our monthly reports. It's,
Hello, I'm Kristen Hall, high school counselor and PCA co-president. Thank you for all your time, hard work, and continued commitment to educators and students. We appreciate the effort that goes into supporting our schools and staff. We want to especially thank Lindsay and Veronica for our monthly meetings, our positions on the different committees, and our continued conversations. They've been very responsive, and Veronica too. They've been very responsive and collaborative. We look forward to the upcoming negotiations and are appreciative that we will now have 3 representatives on the teams to represent each of the levels. We think it's important and valued for that voice to be heard. And as we begin to see bills introduced into the legislative session, we're gearing up to be an active voice at both the state and the Park City level. PCA is planning Educator on the Hill Day to take place either February 20th during our winter break or the 27th. And we look forward to that important advocacy effort. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
And Kristen, you were at the, I'm just sorry, because you were at the interest-based bargaining training, right?
I was not.
You weren't, okay, see, that's why.
So, I mean, neither was that our team here, so.
But
But I've heard there's a slide deck.
there is,
I can share that with both of you.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
it was really good.
That's okay.
It's okay, but I mean, I feel like it was a really valuable.
That was the feedback I heard from PCA.
And just to speak to the 3 representatives, so we'll have an elementary, middle, and high school because they all come with very different needs. So we felt it was important that they each have a voice at the table.
And just to share with you all, and you can jump in. Yeah, we had so interest-based bargaining is what other Ogden school district.
Ogden.
Yeah, so we have the HR director, but she had been a school she had been a teacher, an administrator. She had worked in many parts of the school district, came and gave us interest-based bargaining training. I would be happy to share the deck with everybody.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciated about it, there were a lot of things, but just, not to keep us here all night, but that it provided us a structure for groups and to bring just other issues that affect what's happening with their job, with the building, with whatever, because it's not things that aren't just limited to pay and benefits, so that there are other concerns that arise, and like this is a way that we can, address those and do the research and look at possible solutions, and it just brings in, a number of all the smart ways that we can look at impact, making a positive impact for things that need it.
It's really about bringing forth interest rather than taking a position and an absolute demand or statement. And an interest might be, we want to decrease the number of absences that happen on Fridays amongst staff. Let's get creative and talk about ways in which we can solve that collectively versus saying we're gonna penalize every employee that takes PTO on Friday.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that was probably not. Anybody doing any?
Did you already speak to the public?
Well, we did it at 5:04, but if you have public. Oh, nobody, because it's usually at 5, so I just.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've been sitting here the whole time, wait, I can totally do it next time.
Oh, well, no, I mean, you're here.
Just. Yeah.
Just really quick.
Yes, we're like.
It's not gonna change anything y'all are doing. I actually been waiting a year to say it, but I didn't wanna blur my athletic loyalties. And this, I know you're about to vote on the calendar, and I know you've been working really hard. I have lots of friends who are on the calendar. I just wanted to give my 2 minutes really quick. I just had a graduate. I'm having a graduate this year. I'm sorry, I'm Shannon Michaelis. Hey, Shannon. How are you? I'll fill this out in just a moment.
She subs for us on occasion.
I was subbing at Carly's today. And, I have a graduate last year, a graduate this year. I'll have a graduate in 28, and I'll have a graduate in 37. So I just went through my first graduation. You might say you've got a long way to go, and I do. I did have an athlete, which does blur a little bit of it, and I am from Texas. I have a stack, I didn't bring them today, of 80 graduation announcements from last year from all of our friends in both the South, kind of all over the country. Because it was my first one, it was like every Mommy and Me Play group, I was in it, so we all graduated last year. We graduated at least a week later than anybody else. My son plays Division I football. His entire program waited a week to start because we had not graduated yet. I already noticed y'all are getting it closer to beginning of June versus I felt like we're already into June at that point. Also too, now that I'm a parent with really old children, having the 2 breaks has been a blessing and a curse because my children expect to go on these wonderful vacations and they cost tens of thousands of dollars. So if ever in the future, down the road before 2037, if y'all ever wanted to like pare down the February break, maybe just a Friday, Monday, I know that was in contingent. I'm just saying from like,
I feel your pain.
it's getting like already, we don't really have a February plan yet. And I'm already feeling this like, Mom, what are we doing? I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. We know what we're doing in April. So there's nothing to see right now. I'm also working at Deer Valley for the first time and we have free passes and we're not even using them because there's nothing to ski. So that's all I wanted to say was it would be nice just to get it closer to June 1st versus, June 7th it felt extreme. And if y'all ever got rid of one of the breaks not being so long, my account would just love it. So that's all I have to say.
I'll say that many high schools across the state do graduate a week prior to the last day of school.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
That is a consideration that we can have internal dialogue about.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. We did ask, I mean, just.
Yes, and I voted on it. I did all the
Yeah,
things.
okay.
I've been
I-
waiting to just tell you about my stack that I wanted to bring and just be like, we were the last ones, just for a visual. It's not, I'm not even fussing at what y'all are about to vote on. It's been on my heart and now it's on the table.
Thank you.
And I can leave it. I can sleep well tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How does that work where they graduate before the seniors are just done? So it's just, so the last week of school is everyone boxing.
I mean, in reality, senior walk, no walk checks are happening that week before because grades had to lock to verify who's completed their requirements. But yeah, most school districts across the state, graduations prior to the last day of school.
APs are done, our bad, transcripts are done, everything's done.
We didn't worry, one or two of us, we did everything. Our challenge would be whether.
That seems like a pretty reasonable way of keeping the ski break that everyone wants. And
Except
not
that,
necessarily. Let me explain, but most of the feedback we got, but still getting out at the beginning of June.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely something we can talk about because, like I said, many high schools across the state already do it. And it really is a positive because the seniors are gone, they're done, and they're not disrupting what's still happening at the high school. Alrighty.
Wanna go there?
So there's not much to report since we just ended, but, prom has officially been changed to May 30th. It will be still at Deer Valley. And for those of you who weren't at our in-class meeting, the big overall topics were recycling. We are kind of just looking for more support from the student body, the staff, custodians, everyone to try and wrangle that a little bit, and then hopefully we can come back next month with a little bit of progress. We also are looking and exploring new mascot options. Manny has been through it, and we also have come into some new money, and so that is something we are exploring. Nothing has been decided. We may just get a copy of Manny, just something that smells better and looks better.
Small mascots cost, did you guys say 10
grand?
Yeah.
So we're gonna be mindful where we go with that, but we are also maybe exploring getting Manny an animal friend or something like that. The student store is officially open. Up until winter formal, we are gonna be selling tickets during lunch, which this week only they're the early bird prices, which is $25 for a double and $15 for a single. But then after winters is done, we will move to just selling merch. We're also getting more and more seniors asking to be posted on the senior Instagram page as they're deciding where they're going, which is really exciting. And that's kind of it for now.
And I was just gonna look up to the next student. The board meeting, so who went,
I went this last time.
you went last time?
When's the next one? I love it.
Looking through the calendar.
Probably by then. April.
So there's not one in February.
No, they're at the end of, every quarter.
Been
Every
doing it
quarter.
quarterly,
Oh,
May 6th. A little side.
We can come back to that. Sorry, I thought it was a little more. May 6th, okay. Okay, next up. We've got a decision item on preschool open enrollment. Randy, do you have, who has data?
Yeah, so I can speak to this. If the board elects to open enrollment for preschool, we're looking to accept between 15 and 20 students that do not reside within our boundaries, and it'd be first come, first serve, and there would be a short window where we would open that. As of last week, we were up to 170.
185.
Now we're at 185. Current for next year.
Okay,
Current enrollment is just over 200.
so we're really.
Yes.
I have 33 empty seats.
So this isn't kind of the normal open enrollment discussion, because it's preschool, so falls under which category?
So we would close the current, wait till the current registration closes, make sure all those families are situated. Then we would open for open enrollment, and that would be a small window to have them apply. First come, first serve. Once it's full, it's full.
When would that be ready?
The 28th to
January 28th for a week and a half. So I'm really keeping it short because I want to fill it quickly, get parent families in, get them settled, and then keep closed.
Are you gonna advertise ahead of time? Okay.
He's on it. He's
my
ready
gosh,
to
there's so many people who are anxious for that.
Yes, and we also want to ensure those families who want or need aftercare, we can secure a spot. So aligning those timelines for when aftercare notifications will go out to.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there going to be a different tuition price for out of boundaries?
No, they would pay the same tuition.
Okay.
Well, and once we accept them, they're our student, we treat them just as if they were an in-boundary student. So if they qualify for a reduced tuition, that would apply regardless of whether they reside within our boundaries or outside our boundaries.
All right, thank you.
Would that guarantee them a spot for kindergarten?
They would have to apply because that's considered a transition year. But historically, once they become our kid, we like to keep them.
Okay. That would be
And
the
our
goal.
That would be our goal, to keep them in our kindergarten numbers, if you guys recall,
Right.
were rather low this
Okay.
last school year.
Right.
Well, I'm happy to make a motion to open pre-K on with restrictions.
Any discussion beyond what we've just seen?
Understood.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And now, as Superintendent Huntsman informed us, we now have a calendar. So after reviewing this proposed calendar, we vote to approve the 28 and 29. Can I get a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the 3-year calendars.
Second. Any discussion in addition to the?
We spent so much time talking about this every year.
Sorry, I just feel like I would say. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Give you guys a break next year, hopefully.
I don't love it, the moving around and forward, but I'm just not gonna give a break something.
So if you've been to the training, there's a 0 to 5 where you can kind of take a pulse of what people think, and it's 3 is like, okay, fine, right?
We can live with
it, you know?
That's right.
2 is no, 1 is hell no.
Enough people have put enough time into figuring.
Right, that's right. Yes. Okay, now we have our policies for posting. The following policies have been reviewed by the policy committee and are now before the board for posting. Policy 3004, student membership. Policy 7060, sick leave bank. Policy 7090, substitutes. Policy 7110, resignation. And policy 10025, homeschool charter school.
I make a motion to approve some policies for posting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, now this was it just flew by.
I thought we should be here for.
Yes.
Let me say something about the policy format. We want to move to a format where the policy is shorter itself. And the procedures can be revised at any point in time, by district leadership, because when legislation changes, we have to update policy, and that will limit the number of times we have to come before the board and revise policy. So if you review these policies, you'll notice that we started adopting that new format. So it's just a short paragraph about the policy itself, and then the admin procedures will follow. So that's how we will start to model policy moving forward as we revise and adopt. Similar to how other school districts have done it, just because legislation is constantly changing.
We don't have to do that, though. Take a break.
Yes.
All right, now second from moving to adjourn.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
I know, let's know.